In this video, we are going to take a look at step 3 on how to start affiliate marketing with no money or experience. Watch this entire video so that you can actually get started with affiliate marketing and start making money online. Hi, my name is Alston Godbolt with alstongodbolt.com. I create content to actually help you make money online and not just to put money into my own pockets. And if you want to be added to this globe, simply reply or comment down below with your city, state, province, country, and I'll get you pinned. All right, so as I mentioned, what we're gonna do today is we're going to take a look at step 3, which is vitally important in getting started and finding success. If you haven't already done so, check out part 1 and part 2. Part 1, we find a niche or a product to promote. Part 2, we basically find different ways to find affiliate programs. Now that you have that brief overview, let's go ahead and talk about day 3 or part 3, which is simply finding a traffic source. Now, I'm sure you've heard this before, traffic, but you might not know what that means. Traffic just basically means where you're going to create content. So what you have to realize is that there are billions of people, literally billions of people, hanging out on the internet, but they're not all hanging out in the same spot. There are billions of people that watch YouTube, but not everybody on the internet likes YouTube. So what you have to do is you have to find a traffic source where you can get in front of your highly targeted people so that we can create content, which we'll talk about in a later video. So what we're gonna do today is I'm going to show you examples of how you can go out and find traffic sources and find people where you can create content for them. In this video, we are going to use the example camera that I'm talking to you right now with, and I'm going to show you that people are hanging out all over the place and basically asking the same questions. They're just asking it in different ways. Now, when it comes to traffic and creating content, I get asked all the time, what's the best traffic source? And that answer is really simple. It's two things. One, where is your target audience hanging out? And two, where do you like creating content? Some people love creating YouTube videos, so that's where you should go. Some people don't want to be on camera, then you should consider blogging or Pinterest or even Facebook groups. So let's go ahead and take a look into my computer so I can give you a few examples of people essentially asking the same questions in different places. Now it's incumbent on you to figure out where your target audience is hanging out. So if we jump into my computer, this is the camera that I'm talking to you with, the Sony Alpha 7R 4 full frame mirrorless interchangeable lens 61 megapixel camera. That is a lot to say. We won't be saying that multiple times. The first place that we can go to find our target audience is with Google. So are people searching Sony camera on Google? If we look, you can see people are creating review videos. There are lots of searches, lots of opportunity. The other thing that you have to realize too is depending on where you decide to create content, the competition, the other people in the industry might be a little bit easier or difficult. Google blogging is a well-established platform, and so there's going to be more competition. When there's more competition, you have to be willing to do things that other people aren't willing to do, obviously legally and ethically. It's not obvious, I have to say it, some people will do anything. Anyway, if you wanted to start a blog, which you could start a blog in 2023, you have to realize that just starting a blog alone isn't going to be enough. What you may need to do is you may need to start a blog, and then you may need to create Pinterest pins to help support that blog. What you may have to do is create 10 Pinterest pins for every blog post and then upload those Pinterest pins so that you can start getting traffic to your blog. That's something that you have to realize that you might have to do. But that's one example. The next example is we can take a look at YouTube. Are people Googling the Sony Alpha 7R 4 full frame mirrorless interchangeable camera on YouTube? You can see right on YouTube that this top video has 540,000 views. The second one down here has 234,000 views. Now, if we keep scrolling, we'll see a smaller YouTuber that is getting thousands of views creating content about this camera. Now look at this one, only 1,000 subscribers, 2,000 views. That is a great view to subscriber ratio, and you can see it kind of sticks out in the land of the very competitive. So you can see that people are asking questions about this camera over on YouTube. But you can also do another thing to help support your YouTube channel or your blog. You could actually create content on TikTok. Now, if we look, TikTok is a newer platform. It's the newest platform on this list. And so there's going to be a slightly easier time to get in front of a target audience. Now, if we look at this, the top result here has 9,000 views. The second one, 3,000 views. The third one has 4,000 views, all talking about this camera. So again, people are asking essentially the same questions in different platforms. Some people prefer to be on TikTok and not on YouTube or reading a blog. So you have to understand that there are literally millions and billions of people hanging out all over the internet, and you just have to decide where you want to create content. And the next one we can take a look at is Pinterest. And once again, I typed in Sony Alpha 7R4, and you can see that people are creating content about this camera. Now, if we look at this one, for example, setting up a Sony A7R4, if we click on this, this will most likely lead to a blog. Now, if we click on this blog post here, you can see, without showing up on the first page of Google, because that was a comment that somebody made, that you can actually get in front of a highly targeted audience without showing up on the first page of Google for anything. Now, this is a very in-depth tutorial, Enthusiast Photography blog. This is a very in-depth tutorial about this camera. Again, there are a million ways to skin a cat and start making money online. You have to choose A, where your target audience is hanging out, B, where you feel comfortable creating this content. So if we look, we can scroll through. Again, this works. Another place that we can take a look at is we can take a look at Facebook. Now again, within Facebook, you could create a group. Some people are trying to sell their camera, but I wouldn't necessarily recommend it. We could create posts about this camera within Facebook, and Facebook has a high domain authority, so this can increase our chances of being discovered. Again, because people come to Facebook and they're asking questions about their products. You can see there are multiple blog posts, Sony Alpha Universe. If we click on Sony Alpha Universe, they have 84,000 followers, 58,000 likes. Now, the other thing you have to realize is that this isn't going to happen overnight. You're not going to pick up 226,000 subscribers overnight. You're not going to have 234,000 views overnight. These are methods that you have to build on. You have to show up consistently and persistently daily for your business. I said this in the last video, and I truly mean it. In the beginning, this is your job. You cannot get to passive income without active income. You need to approach this like a job in the very beginning. If you approach this like a job, you show up every day, you show up 5 days a week to grow your business, this will increase your chances of success. If you hem and haw with it, if you do a video here, you do a blog post there, you are inconsistent, you are not going to get any results. That's something that you have to realize and you have to understand. The next place that we could go is we could actually look up different forums. So we could look at photography forums. As you can see, there are multiple photography forums. What we can do is we can then look and see the number of people that are asking questions within these forums to see if it's worth our time. So this first photography forum, the photoforum.com, according to SimilarWeb, gets about 44,000 visits per month. That might not be the best use of our time, but you can see that people are hanging out all over the internet. They prefer hanging out and going to the photoforum.com versus some of the other places on the internet. We could also look at a website like Reddit. Reddit is basically a giant website that has many forums inside of it, and we could do the same thing. We could search for Sony Alpha 7R and see, once again, if people are searching it. So when I pasted in the name of the product, you can see that people are asking questions about this product. They're asking it in different subforums. Look at this. This is the Sony Alpha subreddit or sub-community, but you can see, once again, that people are asking questions everywhere. And that's what you have to realize when it comes to traffic. And traffic just means where people are hanging out, that you can create content literally anywhere as long as people are hanging out there and you feel comfortable creating the content. Now, I don't mean comfortable as in comfortable. I mean, you would actually like creating content there, because the worst thing that you could do is decide, I'm going to create content somewhere that I don't like creating content, and then that's going to be an even easier excuse for you to give up. For example, I started a blog on soundbars. I didn't want to write on soundbars, so I only wrote about 10 blog posts. That blog still gets traffic and commissions with Amazon, but I didn't want to write on soundbars and I didn't want to write a blog, so I stopped. You have to want to create the content somewhere. So understand that people are hanging out all over the internet, and there's a place that you will want to create content more than other places. And again, remember, with some of these are older platforms, meaning they've been around for 10, 15, 20 years. And because it's an older platform, you're going to have to do something to help give your content a push as a new blogger. Again, with a blog, with YouTube, you probably should also do Pinterest pins to help boost your content. And the cool thing with Pinterest is that you can do this relatively quickly and you can start seeing results faster than if you just relied on your blog or your YouTube channel. That's exactly what I did. The other things that you can do is you can answer questions on Quora and then point people back to your original content, whether it's your YouTube channel or your blog post. So then this step 3, I believe, is really important simply because you want to create content where people are already hanging out. One other issue that you may run into is you may run into trying to create content where nobody's hanging out. And when you do that, nobody's going to view, or at least the number of viewers is going to be drastically lower. For example, trying to find different forum sites off the beaten path, trying to find smaller websites that are undiscovered or nobody knows about. Nobody knows about them, so fewer people are going to go to those websites, and your success is going to be even lower. For example, there's a website out there called like MeWe, which is like a Facebook alternative. Not as many people are on MeWe as there are on Facebook, and so you're going to get less success or have less success than if you just used Facebook. Okay, so understand that as well. But this is going to work. This is going to be very important. Sit down, spend 15, 20, 30 minutes figuring out what the best traffic source is for you, and then you can move on to the next step, which is step number 4, which we'll cover later on this week or possibly next week. Watch this video next because YouTube says it will help you grow your online business.